Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Pastor Michael Neff of New Heights Baptist Church. Just wanted to bring a quick devotional to you tonight for our midweek Bible study. I apologize for us not having Bible study in person, but my wife and kids are going to see my wife's sister, who is just about to give birth to another niece for us. And so my wife and kids went out there to be with her and to be a help and support and a blessing to her. And so it was just me at home. And we're still going to do Bible study tonight, albeit not in person and not live tonight. But just wanted to bring to you a little something that I saw in my Bible reading this morning out of Joshua chapter number 6. Joshua chapter number 6 tells the story of the children of Israel getting ready to attack the city of Jericho. And the first major obstacle in their conquest of the promised land, which God had already promised to them, he said, I'm going to fight the battles for you. I'm going to take care of your enemies. You just do what I tell you to do. You just follow after me and keep my laws, and I'm going to give you victory. And I mean, that must have been a big challenge to Joshua and the children of Israel coming up to this major defense city with thick walls. Some historians say that they were so thick that you could race two chariots side by side along the top of the wall. And I mean, if you can imagine those chariots being, maybe 6 to 7 feet wide each, you're talking about maybe 14, 15 foot thick walls to be able to defend the city of Jericho. So the children of Israel, no doubt looking at that, thought to themselves, man, this is going to be a pretty tough thing. I mean, this is the first enemy that we have, and it's going to be this big city like Jericho. Can we really even do it? Well, in Joshua chapter 5, it says that the captain of the Lord's hosts, towards the end of verse number 14, says that the captain of the host of the Lord came, and it said, Joshua fell on his face and did worship. And said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. It doesn't appear that this was another angel. Anytime angels have appeared and men have tried to offer worship to them, the angels have always refused it. However, in this particular instance, this captain of the host of the Lord says, to take the shoes off your feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. The other time we saw this happen was with Moses when he was standing in front of the burning bush, and he had to remove his shoes because the place whereon he was standing was holy ground. So some people say that this was Christ appearing before his coming to earth as that babe in a manger. Some people say that this was Jesus appearing to Joshua. But whether it was God the Father, God the Son, God is there appearing to Joshua, and he hears what the battle plan is. And the Lord said unto Joshua, I have given thee, in Joshua 6, into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men thereof. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets. And it shall come to pass, when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat. And the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. So Joshua does as the Lord commands, and he gets the priests ready. He gets the men of war ready to go. And it says that he brought 7 priests, verse number 8, bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns. I bought a ram's horn. The school that I coach at is the Rams. That's our mascot. And I bought a ram's horn to be able to try to hype up the boys a little bit before a football game. And I bought a really, really tiny ram's horn, and I blew it. And honestly, I blew it. It just didn't sound good at all. But I can imagine that these priests were masters of the ram's horn and blew the trumpet quite well. And so the 7 priests passed on before the Ark of the Covenant. And it says that the armed men went before the priests, and the reward came after the ark, and the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets And Joshua commanded the people, saying, and look at the instructions he gives. Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth. Until the day I bid you shout, then shall ye shout. So look at this. The ark of the Lord compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. So this happened 6 days. It says that they went on continually, and the priests blew the trumpets, and the armed men were following them. And it says that the priests kept blowing. And then the second day, they compassed the city again and went back to the camp. And they did this 6 days in a row. And then on the seventh day, they rose up early. And it says that this time they went around the city 7 times. So they walked around the city 13 times, just blowing their trumpets. That would have been a sight to see for the armies of Jericho standing on that wall, looking down at the priests, asking themselves, what in the world is going on here? But this is exactly as the Lord had told them. I mean, I'm sure Israel could have laid siege to Jericho, or they could have built some siege equipment or some ladders and tried to scale up to the walls to be able to attack the city. And no doubt, I mean, you got an army of several 100,000 in Israel, and they probably could have taken the city with great loss of life, more than likely. But Joshua trusted the plan of the Lord. It says that on the seventh time, there on the seventh day, it says, when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. Remember, he told his men not to speak at all. So for 6 days, going on 7 now, the men hadn't spoken a word at all. And they're marching around the city. They hadn't said anything like, man, I wonder if God's going to do this or not. They didn't question the orders of Joshua. They were faithful to do what Joshua had instructed them to do. And Joshua was faithfully following what the Lord had instructed Joshua to do. And then it says, when he gives them the all call to shout, it says the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpets. And it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout. Look at what happens to the walls. The walls fall down flat. And the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city and utterly destroyed all that was in the city. I find it interesting that at the very first battle, the very first obstacle facing the children of Israel in the promised land, they didn't even have to pick up a sword to be able to bring down the walls of Jericho. They didn't have to bargain with the king or reason with him or try to convince him to surrender. All they did was follow God's plan, and God fought the battle for them. To be perfectly honest with you, church, your pastor, I had some pretty big battles today. Both physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And there came a point where I just, there was nothing I could do, no way that I could fight in gaining victory for myself. I simply had to stop and pray that the Lord would give me strength and that he would fight the battle for me. And I'm thankful that we serve a God that fights our battles for us. We don't have to go on the offensive. We don't have to try to scheme and connive and try to come up with a battle strategy and plan. All we got to do is just follow what the Lord has told us to do. And victory is promised. It's assured. I wonder how many times in my life I've missed out on the victories that God could have given me because I didn't trust him and I didn't follow his plan of battle. We've already got a God that says he'll take care of it if we just put it in his hands, if we just trust him with it. What Jericho are you facing today? What insurmountable obstacle are you staring at? A city with its walls so thick and you just don't see the way that God could give you victory over what you're facing. Maybe you just need to follow God's plan. Maybe you just need to quiet yourself. Just put your head down, put your nose forward and just do what God has told you to do. And then watch as God blesses and removes obstacles out of your way and gives you victory. Don't worry about the Jericho when you have Jehovah God on your side. Christian, I've told you this before. I do not believe in the saying that God will never give you more than you can handle. Sometimes I really and truly believe that God does give us more than we can handle. But he does it for a reason and a purpose. He does it to grow our dependency on him and to make us realize how great he is and how insignificant we are. Because we can't handle this problem. We can't do it on our own. Only through God's strength and God's power, following God's plan for our life and his battle plan and strategy, can we achieve a victorious Christian life. I would encourage you to look a little bit more into Joshua chapter 5 and Joshua chapter 6 on your own after the video has concluded here tonight. And look at what happens in Joshua chapter 7 whenever the children of Israel decide, in fact, just one man, that he doesn't want to follow God's plan and he wants to do things his own way. And it cost the lives of a couple dozen men because he thought he knew better than God's plan, and sin appealed unto him. We talked about that kind of sinfulness and that kind of thinking on Sunday morning. We have to be careful when it comes to the trying of our faith, the trials that God allows into our life, the difference between that and temptation. Temptation is not of God. Trials are, but temptation is not. We have to be careful. We have to be faithful through the trials, and we have to be faithful through the temptation as well. So Christian, I encourage you, if you're in the middle of a fight right now, keep holding on. Keep trusting the Lord. Stop trying to swing the sword and fight your battle yourself. Trust that the Lord will give you the victory. Trust that his battle plan and his strategy is far superior to yours. And watch as God blesses and brings down the walls of the Jericho that you're facing today. I hope and pray that this was an encouragement, a challenge, and a blessing to you. And if there's a further way that we can be a help and a blessing to you, please don't hesitate to let us know. We hope and pray you have a wonderful night, and we hope to see you on Sunday morning for our Sunday morning worship service at 10:30 a.m. there at 11500 Pellicano Suite A4. Like I said, we are praying for you. We love you. If you have any prayer requests, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're not a part of our church family, you can let us know down here in the comments, and if you're comfortable sharing your prayer request there, we'll pray for you. And if not, you can email us there at newheightspastor@live.com, and you let us know privately, and we'll pray privately. And of course, church family, those of you that are on the band app, you have access to the prayer requests, and if you have any new prayer requests that you'd like to add, please do so. Again, would ask your prayers for my sister-in-law, Noelle, and her family as she's about ready to give birth. And then also, I'm excited. I have a new nephew that was born here today. I'm filming this on Tuesday, and a healthy baby boy named Miles. And excited for my sister and for her husband, and excited to meet that little one here soon. And just a great story of God's faithfulness. And there were some complications during that birth, but I'm thankful that God took care of my sister and took care of my nephew, and very excited to get to see that new precious life. God bless you, church family. So thankful for you. We love you, and we'll see you on Sunday. Have a great night.